It is dizzying the amount of hair care products that we have in the market right now. There are shampoos, there are conditioners, there are hair masks, there are leave-in conditioners, there are styling gels, there are serums, and so many other products. But there's a way that you can choose these products which are catered to your particular hair type. Yes, like your skin, your hair also has a very distinctive hair type, and we are going to see which product suits your hair type. So let's start the video. Hello to all the wonderful humans. How are you guys doing? I hope you guys are doing well and welcome. I am Aboli and I make science-based skincare and hair care videos. If you are interested in that space, then consider subscribing to my channel. In today's video, we are going to discuss about different hair care products in correlation with your hair type. If you don't know what your hair type is, I've already made a video on this particular topic. There are different categories that you can put your hair type into. I will link the video and I hope that you guys watch that particular video before you come to this video, because you will not understand a thing that I'm talking if you don't know your hair type. Okay, the first thing that I'm going to talk about is the structure of a hair strand. If you see your hair strand and if you cut it, the cross section will show you that there's a medulla in the middle, like the innermost layer. Then you have a cortex which covers it. Now the cortex is very important because that holds all of your moisture and it also gives structure to your hair strand. Then we have a cuticle layer over the cortex. This cuticle layer acts like a protective layer. Like your skin has a stratum corneum, which is the protective layer. Your hair strand also has a protective layer, and that is the cuticle. Let's start with the most important topic according to me, and that is hair porosity. Very important. Like, this is how the cuticles on your hair look like. Okay, imagine that this is the hair strand and these are how the cuticles look. Now if you have naturally low porosity, then the cuticles will be closed, so there is no way that the cortex and the environment can communicate. So you're not going to lose any moisture or protein. And if you have hair with high porosity, this is how your cuticle layer is going to look. You see how the cuticles are raised? Yes, that is how it is going to look. When your cuticles are raised like this, you can see the white part inside. Imagine that to be the cortex. Now you can see that there's so much surface area that comes in contact with the environment, meaning that it is going to communicate with the environment and you're going to lose all of the moisture and protein every time you touch your hair, every time you wash your hair. So now you've understood the difference. Let's see what you can do to change all of this. So there are two types again. It can be either genetic or it can be self-inflicted. And when I say self-inflicted, it means that you can get high porosity if you have damaged hair, like if you do a lot of heat treatments, if you do bleaching, or if you color your hair repeatedly, then you can get high porosity. So when we talk about the solution, any logical person would tell me that Aboli, the simplest solution is to either work on the cuticle layer so that you can flatten it, or you can use products so that they go and fit right into the gap so that they block the cortex from communicating with the environment. That's like the most simplest solution, and that is exactly what we are going to do. But how do you know what exact products you need to use to block or to straighten the cuticle layer? Now there are two things that are very important here. One is protein. Like, does your hair strand need protein? How do you determine that? And the next is moisture or moisturization, the emollient moisturization that your face also needs. So I have a beautiful solution for you guys. I have made a chart right here. It's like what treatment to go for. Should you go for protein? Should you go for moisture treatment? And we're going to talk about that. But do not forget my beautiful tarazu right here. The most important thing when it comes to hair care is balance. How do you balance your protein in your hair and the moisture in your hair? Now, when do you go for protein treatment? You go for protein treatment when you think that, or when you feel that your hair is too soft. Yes, it's a thing when your hair is too soft or too moist, and you can actually feel that all of the water is not getting evaporated out after your hair wash, then you have over moisturized your hair, and you need to bring in a little bit of protein so that you can make the structure strong enough so that there's a proper moisture balance. As simple as that. The next one is no structure. It just means that your hair is just falling. There is no bounce, so it's just a hair strand. There is no life in it. The next one is damaged hair. If you have done a global color or highlights, or if you have a habit of using heat treatments on your hair, you will always go for protein treatment, okay? At least once in 15 days, if that's what your hair needs, or once in a week also, because every time you blow dry your hair, you are going to make this gap bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. It's not going to get flattened, it's going to get bigger. So henceforward, I would really appreciate if you guys do not use any heat treatments. And the next one is frizz. Now frizz is a very weird and a very vague term. Frizz generally means that you have frayed, opened up cuticle that we've spoken about. You also have dry, under moisturized hair strand. Now it's such a weird dilemma here. So if you have under moisturized, it means you need more moisture, but here I have written frizz under protein treatment. So this is where you will have to do a little bit of trial and error, where you have to see that your frizz is caused because of under moisturization or no protein. I get frizz because I lose moisture. I need more moisture in my hair care routine. Once I've added good amount of moisturizing ingredients, I can very clearly see that it has reduced my frizz. Similarly, when it comes to my sister's hair, she has done a lot of coloring. She uses protein mask, and immediately after the protein treatment, you can see that significantly her frizz has reduced. So frizz, very vague. You'll have to do some trial and testing to see what works for you. Then let's talk about moisture. And when do you use moisture treatments? You use moisture treatments when you have frizz and dry hair strands like mine. You use moisture treatments when you have brittle hair. We talked about the hair elasticity in the other video. If you do not have good hair elasticity, it means that you need to add more moisture. But if you have hair strands like they just stretch and stretch and stretch and stretch, that means that you have over moisturized your hair. It should be a good amount of elasticity, and then your hair should break. So if that happens, then your hair is healthy. You do not need these treatments. Okay, now which type of hair porosity will go where? If you have high porosity, meaning you lose moisture, you lose protein, usually you will need a lot of protein treatment. That is because you're losing the structure from your hair strand, and you're also losing protein. Every time you wash your hair, if your cuticles are open like this, they're going to raise even more, and you're going to lose even more protein and moisture from your hair strand. If you have high porosity hair, you should go for protein treatment. If you have low porosity hair like mine, I have low porosity hair, you should go for moisture treatment. Okay. Having said that, do not forget my beautiful tarazu right here. Balance is very important. You can easily go overboard with either moisture or with protein. We have heard protein overload so many times, and yes, that can happen. I experienced protein overload many times because, as I have said, I have low porosity hair. So for my hair type, I do not need protein treatment. That is because my hair has good amount of keratin in it. It is protecting itself, it has a good structure, it does not need protein. It is similar to my skin type, okay? There is no use for a heavy moisturizer for my skin type because I have oily skin. there's no use. So if I use a heavy moisturizer, it is going to give me negative effects. It's going to clog my pores. It's going to give me acne. Similarly, for my hair type, I have low porosity hair. That is why I usually get really dry, hard hair strands after protein treatments, and that's exactly what happened when I used the Earth Rhythm pea protein mask. If you guys remember my review, I gave a very bad review for this particular product. This is the pea protein Earth Rhythm mask, and that is because it has pea protein, and pea protein is quite a strong protein treatment, and this did not suit me because I have low porosity hair. And when I say protein, I mean hydrolyzed protein. Okay, the difference between protein and hydrolyzed protein is like a huge molecule, okay, and it needs to go and it needs to sit in this particular gap that I've shown before. It can't do that because the size is quite large. So what they do is they break the protein molecule into small molecules. They are known as hydrolyzed proteins, which can easily go and sit into this gap and can give the structure, and it can close up the cuticle layer. So you need hydrolyzed proteins. So whenever you go and you see any products, go to the ingredient list and see if it has names like hydrolyzed silk protein, hydrolyzed pea protein, hydrolyzed I don't know, wheat protein, milk protein. This 100 types of proteins, as amino acids, so you need to use those type of proteins. Okay, so if you have high porosity hair, go for these types of protein. If you have low porosity hair and you think that you need at least one type of a protein treatment, maybe once in a month or once in 15 days, then don't go for these type of proteins because they are quite strong. You can go for protein treatments that are they're in general with other hair mask, with other moisturizing ingredients. And now I'm going to give all of the recommendations and all of the products that I think that are great in the market right now in the description box below. I'm going to segregate them according to what I'm talking in the video, and you can take a look at that. So high porosity hair types, when it comes to shampoo, I would recommend not using a SLS based shampoo because that means that it's going to dry out your hair even more and you're going to lose even more moisture, even more protein. What I recommend you do is you use a secondary surfactant based shampoo. So that means sulfate free shampoos, and you use a conditioner after that, and then you can use a hair mask once in a week with good amount of hydrolyzed proteins in it, and then you can go for a good leave-in conditioner which has a little bit of protein and other moisturizing ingredients in it, because you need to keep the balance. So it's important that you have the moisturizing ingredients as well. Now the problem arises when you have an oily scalp and high porosity hair. So what you do in your case is that you apply the conditioner or hair mask on your hair strands before you shampoo. From this end to your like the end, you apply your hair mask, then you take your shampoo and just clean your scalp. Try to avoid the shampoo coming in contact with your hair strands. Like, just keep it very limited to 1 to 2 minutes while you're just rinsing it off, and that will help you to retain the moisture and protein in your hair strand. Okay, let's move on to low porosity hair. I have low porosity hair. What works for me is, again, it depends on your scalp type. If you have a dry scalp type, then I do not recommend sulfates because sulfates can dry you out. And if you have dry scalp type, again, you do not need sulfates in your shampoo. Sulfates are there to clean it. Sulfates are the best surfactants out there, so they are going to do the job. They're going to clean it. So if you have dry flaky scalp, please do not use sulfates because there's nothing there to clean. Use a good sulfate free shampoo which has other moisturizing ingredients so that it can keep your scalp also moisturized. And if you have really dry hair strands, then you should go for shampoos that are moisturizing. Yes, there are moisturizing shampoos out there which have fatty alcohols, which have other emollients, which will keep your hair strands moisturized, and it will not give you the brittle dry feeling. Again, the recommendations will be in the description box below. Okay, I'm going to quickly talk about DIY masks that are out there which claim to be protein masks that you see everywhere on Instagram, on YouTube Shorts, on other DIY channels. and the most common one is egg whites, because they have albumin, they have protein, and they're going to work for you. Well, they're not going to work for you. As I've said before, I've given you the example of the protein molecule. If you take the huge protein molecule that the albumin has, it's not going to go and enter inside the gap. It's going to sit on top of it. That's not going to do anything. It's not going to form a uniform layer. All it will give you is a slip because it's sitting on top of it. You're still going to lose all of the moisture, all of the protein, because this gap right here is not getting covered. Also, it takes ages to remove the egg white from your hair. Don't do it. The smell it's bad and it's not getting absorbed. Hydrolyzed proteins get absorbed in your cortex layer. These proteins will not get absorbed, and if you feel that these protein treatments are working because after washing you can see the slip, it simply means that you haven't washed off the egg whites properly from your hair. It's yuck. If you want to go for some kind of a DIY, like a moisturizing DIY for your hair strands, make a blend of oils. Just avoid your scalp if you have dandruff. Okay, this video is getting really long, but I'm also going to talk about the scalp type very quickly. If you have oily skin type, as I've said before, SLS is your friend. There is no harm in using sulfates in your hair care routine. If you have dry scalp, avoid sulfates, go for sulfate-free shampoos or secondary surfactants. If you have dandruff, medicated shampoos with ketoconazole will help you. I already have a video on that too, you can take a look at it. There are research studies out there which actually say that scalp inflammation can be a reason why you are experiencing hair loss. Can you believe it? It is because your scalp is so inflamed, the new hair strands cannot pierce through it and they don't come out. So that is why you think that you have this pseudo hair loss. It is just because of inflammation. So there are two solutions that I have for you guys. First is the Trichomax Scalp Serum, and it has all natural ingredients like green apple extract, pomegranate extract. These will help to calm your scalp again, will help with scalp inflammation. The other one I have is from Earth Collective, and it's the scalp tonic. It also has niacinamide, so hooray. So anybody who suffers from scalp inflammation or who has the habit of doing this and taking out blood, yes, you need to stop doing that and you need to start using these. Now my hair type is low porosity, good elasticity, dry ends, sometimes brittle, but it's more of frizziness and dryness. So it's very obvious that I need more moisture and not protein, because I have enough protein in my hair strands. Now many of you all have shared your hair type in the comment section of the other video. Because this video is getting really long, I'm thinking of creating small shorts regarding these, where I can discuss about different products or different concepts that you can use for that particular hair types, and I will be releasing these shorts very soon. Stay tuned for that. And that's it for the video. I hope you guys liked the video, and I really hope that this video helps you to navigate through like hundreds of products in the Indian market. Also, don't forget to check the description box, where I will be linking all the products that I feel that are good for that particular hair type. Bye guys.